The iPhone 14 Pro Max can record video at up to 4K 60 with all of its 4 cameras. 4K 24 is also available across the board if you are after a more cinematic motion look. All videos are digitally stabilized on all 4 cameras, and optical stabilization on all but the ultrawide is available. Apple calls this cinematic video stabilization. All modes, including the 4K 60, feature expanded dynamic range thanks to the smart HDR. The slow-mo options max out at 1080p at 240 fps. There is a new option called Enhanced Stabilization, which is an enhancement over the default EIS and crops a bit more to deliver even more stabilized footage. We shot with and without this new option, and honestly, besides the small promised crop, we did not see any difference. There is one new mode called Action Mode. It crops heavily from the 4K footage. That's why the resolution is 2.8K to 816x 1,584px and delivers super smooth and incredibly stabilized video. It is available on all rear cameras and can be shot in any resolution and at any frame rate, but the way we understand it, it is intended to be shot on the ultra-wide camera at 60 fps. And the action mode works just as promised, delivering lovely videos with outstanding action camera-grade stabilization and excellent smoothness. Detail, colors, contrast and dynamic range are praiseworthy too. Here are the samples from the 14 Pro with the stabilization behind us. Let's talk about regular video capture. You can record HDR videos straight into the Dolby Vision format up to the same maximum of 4K 60. The previous generation was limited to 30 frames per second. You can edit these videos on your phone, upload them on YouTube or any other popular platform, or even send them to your friends. The Dolby Vision information is saved outside of the video stream, so the video will look normal to any non-HDR player screen and will be color boosted on any Dolby Vision compatible player and display. You also have a choice between H.265 HEVC and H.264 video encoders. The high-efficiency mode uses H.265 and is mandatory for 4K 60 and HDR footage, while the more compatible mode, H.264, provides easier playback across different devices. The iPhone 14 Pro Max, just like the previous iPhones, captures wide stereo audio for the videos at about 192 kbps. iPhones have been known for their class-leading video quality, and the 14 Pro Max is no different. The main camera shoots superb 4K 30 videos with a tone of resolved detail and natural rendition without any over-sharpening. There is no noise. The dynamic range is great, and so is the contrast. The colors stay lively and true to life. If you decide to shoot in 24 frames per second or 60 frames per second, you will get the same quality. The videos will be just smaller or larger in size because of the video bit rate difference.
And set up all your gear by yourself, but luckily mobile gear isn't as cumbersome and heavy as with larger camera. Filming by yourself takes a lot of time and patience because you will be doing everything yourself, which means you will have to focus on multiple things simultaneously. This means running back and forth to ensure the shot is framed properly, that your focus is on point, that the lighting is right, and many more. So just make sure to be aware of that and accept it. You don't want to rush the process and end up with a video you're unhappy about. Instead, just have fun with it and enjoy the process. Don't let these limitations discourage you, and with the help of this video, you will be able to film yourself like a pro. Next is to bring the right gear. Besides choosing the right camera settings, it's important that you also bring the right gear with you. Depending on what you want to film, this may include different gear. The most important gear would be a tripod, which allows you to position your camera to capture the shots you need. In addition, an Apple Watch can be incredibly helpful for framing your shots, as you can use it as a live monitor. Other gear can help you be more creative with your shots. For instance, a suction cup can be used to position your camera on the car or a window. This allows you to capture unique shots that would otherwise be difficult. By the way, I will mention all the gear in the video description below. Now, the iPhone 14 Pro has 3 lenses on the back, which covers all of the focal lengths I need. But if your iPhone only has one camera, you might consider bringing third-party lenses with you. Now, the great part about using your iPhone to film yourself is that you can pack light, as mobile gear is usually small and lightweight, making it easier to carry around the entire day without getting tired. As I mentioned, every shot is different, so you will need to figure out for yourself what you need to bring for your shoot. Next is to have a variety of shots in your video. This will allow for greater variation and make the video more dynamic. One of the best ways to achieve this is to capture a nice balance of wide shots, medium shots, and close-ups. You not only want to get shots of the main subject, or myself, but also your surroundings to give your video some context. Then, really important is to set and lock your focus and exposure to ensure your focus and exposure don't change while filming, because it could happen that the camera might focus on something that you don't want. I sometimes also like to focus on something interesting in the foreground while I myself am moving through the background. Now, in general, what I do is I pick a spot where I think it is most important to have myself in focus, either at the point I'm walking through or at the point where I want to be standing at the end. Now, if there's nothing at the distance from the camera to focus on, I use my backpack and place it where I will be standing. In some cases, I like to use the autofocus, as it does a great job of keeping me focused while moving around, but because the exposure will be affected as well, in most cases I lock it. Unfortunately, you can't separate focus and exposure in the default camera app. For that, you will need a third-party app like Filmic Pro. Then, importantly, is to review your shots. When you're filming yourself, it's important that you review your shots every single time. This will allow you to ensure that you got the shot right and make any necessary adjustments if needed. Additionally, this will make the editing process much easier, as fixing something in the edit on your phone, but I prefer editing on a desktop or laptop since I'm much quicker, and also Final Cut Pro gives me more advanced editing options. Now, I actually already edited the video, and I'm gonna play it back for you with the timeline so that you can see how it would look like. So the first thing I do after importing the clips into my project is that I just pick the best parts of each clip. And then I drag all of the clips into the timeline, and then I rearrange them so that it makes sense with the storyline. So let me show you what I mean by that. I picked this first shot as the intro shot, since it sort of reveals the location with the mountains, and I think it really works well with the title. And for the second shot, I picked more of a close-up of me steering the wheel inside the car. And for the third shot, I picked this wide shot of me driving over the camera. Then you can also see sort of a medium shot just of the wheel. So again, we have a lot of different perspective, which makes it also interesting to watch. You don't always want to have the same perspective You want to make sure to get a variety of shots. And then you have a shot of me arriving at the location. And then we're switching to a close-up shot of me getting out of the car, me opening up the trunk, more of a medium shot, and then a POV shot of me grabbing the backpack. And then I picked the same shot again, just me closing the trunk. And then we have some B-roll of the location just to show the environment and give some more context. And then we have a wide shot of the sign and then me walking up that hill. And then we have a sort of medium shot of me walking upwards, and then another medium shot from above. And last, when I arrive at the spot, a nice close-up of my face, which allows the viewers to connect emotionally. And then finally, we have a wide shot of me looking at the beautiful view, revealing the entire location. So the next thing I did is I actually picked out the music as well as sound effects, and for that I use Artlist, which I think is one of the best places to find original high quality music. And if you sign up using the link in my description, you can get 2 months additionally for free. So I actually trimmed the music into 2 parts. I took the beginning of the music and then took sort of the ending of the music and overlaid it. So this is how it sounds like. Now, as you can listen, the transition between those 2 music clips isn't that smooth, but I fixed that using sound effects. And sound effects is really important to add into your video to make your videos come more alive. And by the way, I also captured sound using the internal mic. This will make the editing process for you much quicker. Otherwise, you will need to find all of those sounds like footsteps, wind noise, car passing by and all of that. So let me play back the video with just the sound effects enabled. Now, something else to consider once you have your music is to edit to the beat. So what I mean by that is when I play this clip back, there's a cut over there. And as the beat comes, I turn off the lights. So let me play that back. Boom. And again, as you can see, I step out of the car to the beat. So let's play that back again. Okay. And sometimes you can also edit offbeat to also make it more interesting for the viewer. So for example, over here, see, people would expect that I would cut on that beat, but since I didn't do that, it sort of keeps the interest of the viewer. So the next thing I did is I added a title to my video. And the title I'm using is from Motion VFX called M-Title Cinematic. Motion VFX creates some of the best plugins in the world. I will leave a link in the video description below if you're interested. And using a professional title plugin like this one just makes your video look more cinematic. And the great part is that it comes with all different kinds of title animations once you have it. So I highly suggest you take a look, as I use them for most of my videos, especially travel videos that I create. Now, since most of the shots we're taking on a tripod, it can get a little bit boring as there is no camera movement involved, but there is an easy fix to make your locked off shots look more dynamic. All you have to do is fake your camera movements in the edit. There are different ways to achieve this. You can pan across the frame, or what I like to use most often is applying a zoom in or out on the subject. And you also can add fake handheld movement to your static videos, which also adds extra visual interest as if someone would be holding the camera. So for example, in this video, I added a slight zoom in, which allows the viewer to focus their attention even more on the car. And then in the second shot, again, I added a slight zoom in. And then in this shot, I added a pan, which goes from left to right, which is also really nice. And then for the last shot, I added a zoom out to let the viewers know that the scene is ending. And in this clip, I also added a camera shake as I step out of the car. So when I play it back, you'll see boom, boom, which makes it even more dramatic. So the next thing I did is I color graded each of the clip. So this is how it looks like straight out of the iPhone's native camera. And after color grading, this is how it looks like. As you can see, it looks way more cinematic. And I'm not going to go through the entire process of how I color graded this clip, because that's a video for itself. But basically what I did is I first converted the HDR clip to an SDR clip using the HDR tool inside of Final Cut Pro. After that, I adjusted the highlights, midtones, and shadows. And then I made sure the white balance is correct. And then in this curve, I also raised the shadows to make it look a little bit more vintage-like. Then I adjusted the hue and saturation. So I made these leaves over here less saturated, and also made the sky a little bit more teal. And then I added a vignette to help the viewers focus on what's important. And then last, I added a look to my video, and I actually used one of my own LUTs, which is the orange and teal look, to make the image pop more. If you're interested in getting my premium mobile LUTs, the link will be in the description below. And last but not least, I added a letterbox on top of the entire clip to make it look more cinematic. And once you're done, I head over to the top right hand corner, select export, and for the format, I pick Apple device. The video codec is H.264 in 4K resolution. So there you have it. That is how I edit the entire video that I shot of myself using Final Cut Pro.
Overall, filming yourself can be challenging, but a rewarding experience as you learn a lot by doing this. As you can see, there are many different things to consider when filming yourself, as well as editing to get the most out of your video. By following these steps, you can ensure that you get the best shots possible and make your shooting experience more enjoyable. So remember, take your time, be creative, and have fun. Now guys, if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, make sure to check out smartphonefilmmaking.com, as I have tutorials just like this one, where you can learn how to film professionally and cinematic videos using just your smartphone in no time. On top of that, I just released a mini course on the iPhone 14 Pro inside the smartphone filmmaking course with 25+ lessons explaining every setting you need to know to capture the best footage possible. If you're interested, make sure to check out the link in the description. Now, if you're new to filming with a smartphone, make sure to download my free smartphone filmmaking guide, which will help you get started making quality videos right away. Now, make sure to subscribe to my channel to not miss out on my upcoming videos. Thank you so much guys for watching. I appreciate all of you. Take care, and I will see you in the next video.